We have Scott, who is from ATP. Scott, would you mind introducing yourself? Give us your name, what you do there, the whole thing.
Yeah, my name is Scott Sprague. I'm the marketing manager for Advanced Technology Product, and I'm excited to do this interview. I'm excited to have a new partnership with you all, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit about ourselves.
Great. Well, thank you so much for attending today, Scott. We obviously appreciate you guys a ton, and we're excited to do this with you guys. So I'll get
Thank
right
you.
into some of the questions. So what sets ATP tubing apart in the industrial tubing market compared to your competitors?
Well, at ATP, we both manufacture and our products, and this happens from one of our three locations. They're all ISO 9001 certified facilities. We have our manufacturing facility is in North Central Ohio. We have a distribution center in Eastern Ohio and another distribution center in right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And a little bit about ourselves, our quality standards are the best in the industry. I mean, it's that simple. And we continuously invest in technology and process improvements. For things like our Sanitation Foundation certified products or NSF certified products that are good to use for food and beverage. And then we also have products such as our weld spatter tubing, which is a fire-resistant and actually anti-flammable tubing that's big in the weld industry. So these are some examples of the products that we have that are safe for not only consumption, but in real-world environments where safety is an issue. We do a large portion of our manufacturing for custom work and application-specific solution. And the really cool thing about it, and this is where it really is fun for us, is we work through all of the phases with our customers, design, prototyping, testing, and then production rollout. And so through all of that expertise, we're able to do really, really exciting product, something that customers are like, wow, I never really considered doing it that way. And we're able to help them solve their custom solutions. And lastly, I'll add that ATP is an employee-owned company. We're an ESOP, and all our employees were owners of the company, and we all have skin in the game. And so that really just takes it up a notch as far as our quality and our commitment to our product.
Wow. I didn't know that you guys were employee owned. So that really kind of attests to the products, like you said, in itself. So that's amazing. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's cool.
So how do you see tubing and fluid handling solutions evolving over the next 5 to 10 years? And then where do you see ATP tubing fitting into all that in the future?
Yeah, right now is a time when there's a lot of change in this industry. There are a lot of the businesses and manufacturers that in the past used to power their tools or their equipment. And there's a real shift towards battery-powered tools. We understand that, and we're being flexible and going with it. We've seen a real growth for demand in customization with specialized materials, higher performance expectations, and stricter compliance standards. Everything is changing. You just look outside at the cars people are driving, or look at the appliances in your kitchen. Everything is changing, and we really keep our ear to the ground and consider these changes as opportunities. One of these changes that really is taking off for us is in the automation and robotics industry. We've seen huge growth with that, specifically in our bonded spirals. We are able to bond all of our tubing that we manufacture together and spiral it so it has some flexibility. And we're finding that robotics engineers are loving it because they're able to have multiple tubes that one may have some sort of air media, one may have some sort of liquid media. And not only tubing, but we're able to bond, wires if they wanted a ground wire attached, if they wanted a video cable attached, if they wanted an Ethernet cable attached. Those can all be bonded together and configured into a really cool, amazing product that we think is going to be a big part of the future. And lastly, we're going to just continue to invest in this technology. and remain adaptive. So with all of this new technology and forward thinking that we have, we're going with it. Like I said, we've got our ear to the ground. We're continuing to invest in new technology. We've always got to remain adaptive and be flexible, and most importantly, stay innovative. Listen to our customers. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So what's one challenge you consistently see customers facing with tubings, fittings, and how does ATP Tubing address it differently?
Right. So, like I've said, we're really proud of the quality of our product, and it's the best in the industry. But at the end of the day, it's just a commodity. It's just a thing we sell. So we found that winning business really comes from being in a position of transparency, service, and the doctrine of being a business partner. I mean, that really is key. We're going to work with you, not just sell you something. Our people really make the difference at Advanced Technology Product. And so as far as the customers that, the challenges that they see is we hope that they don't see many challenges when they come to us because we're upfront, we're transparent, and we're a business partner. A specific example of this would be, we will never overspec an item just to make money. I mean, we have a wide range of product, and we ask questions. You are a business partner. What application is this going to be used for? What chemical resistance? What's the pressure, the temperature, the media? We get all of that together and come up with a solution that other folks may be like, oh yeah, we're going to sell you this top dog thing, and maybe they don't need it, And so I think that we're going to give the customer what they really need, and sometimes it's like, oh wow, I had no idea. I thought it would be much more expensive, and and in the long run, that's how we forge relationships and have with many customers.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I think people love that type of transparency. I know so many times, I mean, we've all been through it. You go to a car dealership, they're trying to sell you the biggest, baddest car out there. And it's just like, I just need one that just drives. So the fact that you guys are very much so like, hey, this Toyota Camry will do just fine, and we can just go with that. So that's amazing about that level of transparency.
Thank you.
Of course. Would you be able to share another example of a recent success story or an application in general where ATP Tubing's products really made an impact?
Yeah. And this is sort of continuing on what we were just discussing. We've got a saying at ATP that the product is us. It's the whole package. Our tubing and our fittings, best in the business. And so an example of a recent success story is we were thrilled to win a large part of business with a massive manufacturer who was in the process of consolidating from multiple vendors down to just a select few. We won that business, and we won it by being genuine, being transparent, and focused on measurements and continuous improvement. It really is about the process, and again, not so much the product. And this manufacturer relies on us for application support, consistency, and it's pretty boring stuff, but frankly, being boring is good. And another sort of just nuts and bolts example is there's a major plastics manufacturer that will only use our Technofit push to connect fittings in their manufacturing processes. Simply because of the quality of the product. And their top management has standardized these into their production process, and they'll only use our fittings and refuse to use anything else unless there's just an absolute emergency. So I thought that was a pretty cool story.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. You wouldn't think that tubing would be, I guess you would say, classically interesting, but like you say, sometimes boring is better for these type of things. Boring can be reliable. Boring is, I know I can go to these people, they'll get me what I need every time. So definitely, we don't want to undershine the boring. It definitely is one of the good borings that you're like, I know I can rely on these people.
Right. Yeah. We have invested a lot of time and money in back end, the way our systems talk to other folks, other companies. So if it's, EDI support, direct connection with their purchasing and supply chain, that's what we're doing. And again, that is us being us. And oh, by the way, our product is the best in the world.
All right. And then I guess my last question here, If you could give one piece of advice to engineers and or business selecting tubing solutions for the first time, what would it be?
Yeah, so I sort of touched on this before, but a great piece of advice for engineers is, always follow the industry-wide stamped STAMPED method, which is size, temperature, application, media, pressure, ends or fittings, and delivery. Those are the bare bones things that you really need to be focusing on. And as I mentioned before, a common situation that can come out of that is, to overspec the product, overspec the design for the application, meaning that the product's performance is much beyond what you would need. For a single installation, that might work.
Right.
But for an OEM or a large project, those unnecessary costs can add up quickly. So we can assist with the sizing of the tubing, the fittings, the clamps, and everything for your application. But it's important for us to ask questions and for the customer to ask questions. And always remember, when in doubt, test it out. If you've got a large project or opportunity, we love having visitors. Come and visit the factory. Get a sense of how our products made, and what our company culture is. As I've said, our people are as much of our success as our products are. So we really like to show you how we do it and who's doing it, and everybody turns away, and when they walk away from one of our tours, they're like, "Wow, you guys are awesome."
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, I would love to give you any closing remarks if you had any before we end this here.
I'll just end on this, and we're willing to work with anybody. We do a lot of business for folks that are private label. Frankly, they're our competition, but it works out best for us. They buy our tubing, they put their stamp on it, and we don't see that as competition. We see that as friendly business. So if other large manufacturers and suppliers of high quality tubing and fittings and whatnot are using ours and calling it theirs, why wouldn't you come to us?
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense.
I don't know if that sounded cocky or not.
Well, I think it sounded confident. There's a little bit of a difference there. It sounded confident.
Okay.
So we like that. Okay, great. Thank you so much for sitting down with us, Scott. I know this is our first vendor web series, so we are so excited we got to launch it off with ATP, a very valued vendor of ours. And we're glad that you took the time to sit down and kind of explain a little bit to our audience what makes ATP really stand out. And I think by now, if they didn't know already, they're going to know after this how much you guys are really like a standout group of people, whether it's the products or just the people who work there. But you guys really sound like a down-to-earth, genuine, reliable brand. And in these crazy times, that's pretty much the only thing you really can ask for. So if you guys are looking for a good product, obviously when it comes down to tubing, ATP is one of the best to do it. And that's kind of where we're at with it. Thank you for your time today, Scott. We very much so appreciate it. And definitely big thanks to ATP as well.
Thank you, Tara.